I know something about you. You made a decision to walk into this auditorium today and listen to a talk. Nobody forced you to be here, cajoled you, maybe a little bit encouraged, but you still made that decision on your own. In 2019, I made a decision to transition from 9 to 5 to an entrepreneur to become a global relationship expert who helps couples become satisfied and successful in their relationship. That decision was one of the hardest decisions I ever made as a husband, father, and a provider. The day I resigned, my wife was sick. I decided to buy her soup from Panera Bread so that she could feel better. As I drive down to the parking lot of the restaurant, I looked at my account and realized I only had less than $2. It was not enough to get her the soup. As I sit inside the car, tears roll down my eyes. Even though I knew my identity is not tied to finances, but at that moment, I felt inadequate as a provider. So I tell God, if you are with me on this journey of entrepreneurship, please let this card work. I don't want to disappoint my wife. I summon courage. I walk into the restaurant. I hand the cashier my card. She swipes it. And guess what happened? The card worked. It worked. I was so happy. I was excited. I said, thank God. Give me the card back. I grab the soup, run straight to the car, drive straight home. And then I see my wife laying on the bed. I knelt down right next to her. As I hand her the soup, I said, babe, you did not ask me for this soup. I decided that on my own. Unfortunately, there was not enough money in my account, but God showed up. I'm going to take care of you. A few months later, my wife walks up to me in the house and she hands me a credit card with $100,000 spending limit. Babe, what is this for? She says, use it for your business. You said, what? $100,000? I could not believe it. I almost fainted. I applied the card to my business, and a few years later, my business picked up, started doing well, making a lot of money. I wake up one day full of excitement, wanted to surprise my wife. I take her to the car dealership, and I bought her a G-Wagon. Okay, I thought you guys should clap for that. You guys should be proud of me that I did that. That story taught me an important concept, which is called relationship equity. Relationship equity is what is responsible for the success and satisfaction of my wife and I want to share that with you so that you and your partner can both be satisfied and successful in your relationship. So what is relationship equity? It is the practice of fairness where everyone is benefiting from the relationship. Relationship equity avoids one person benefiting and the other person under benefiting. There are pillars of relationship equity. When you deploy them in your relationship, you and your partner will both be satisfied and successful. So let's get right into them. The first pillar is called power dynamic. What is power dynamic? It is an act of utilizing your power to influence your partner or your relationship. Power can come from your title as a husband or as a wife. Power is also derived from socio-economic power or having knowledge in a particular subject. All these powers are designed to help each other. Just in my story, my wife was able to utilize her economic power to empower me. And just like the scripture says, if either of them falls, one can help the other up. Here's something I've discovered about couples who come to my practice. The wife says, my money is my money, and your money is our money. Really? And the husband says, well, I'm the head of the household. Whatever I say goes. How's that working for both of you? Well, Dr. Femi, that's why we are here. It's not working. Well, I can see that. Even Stephen Wonder can see that too. The problem is power struggle. If you think you are more powerful than your partner because of the power you possess, this is what's going to happen. One is that your power becomes a threat to your partner. Two is that you become forceful and domineering in your approach. And three, you desire to always want to win arguments. Or outside of your relationship, you and your partner are winning in life, but you are not winning together. What's the point of being in a relationship, being partners, when you are both not winning together? It's pointless. However, when you think that you are both equally powerful, here are the benefits. One is that you complement each other's power and not compete. Two is that you are able to leverage your power to empower each other so that you can balance your relationship and maximize it. And three, you experience speedy result. If it takes one person a long time to complete a task, two people can accomplish that same task in record time. By combining these three insights, you and your partner will become satisfied and successful in your relationship. Here's another thing that I discovered about couples. One will argue that men are the prize. Well, Mr. James Brown, we heard it from you. It is a man's world. And other people will argue that women are the prize. Well, we know the song from Beyonce, Who Runs the World? How about this? How about we both consider each other as the prize so that we can prioritize each other, pursue each other, and help each other in any situation we find ourselves? I'll tell you this. If we think one gender is the prize, we are going to make the mistake of centralizing all power and all attention to that one gender. And we know as human beings, when power is only controlled by one person or by a gender and it is not balanced, that power can be misused or abused. We don't want that. So my friends, I'm encouraging you, let's consider each other as the prize and equally powerful so that we can pursue one another, prioritize one another, and empower each other with our power in any season we find ourselves. Here's the second pillar of relationship equity that I want to share with you today. It's called gift. What is gift? Gift, I don't mean chocolates or jewelries. I mean gift as your inherent gift, your talent. Your gift is what is going to help you to determine your purpose in life, what you are called to do, to help humanity, to help mankind. Your gift is what is going to give you meaning to life. I was able to discover my gift as a global relationship expert, and my wife is able to support me in that journey of expressing my gift. To die and having never discovered and utilized your gift is a life not fully lived. So discover your gift. Either as being an artist, an entrepreneur, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an accountant, whatever that gift is, discover it. And don't just stop there. Utilize that gift to impact the world, to influence lives, generations, and make an income with it. So that maybe you can buy yourself chocolates, jewelries, or buy your partner a G-Wagon. Here's another thing about gift. It is what is responsible for your joy, for your fulfillment, for your happiness. It is time we stop putting the burden of happiness on our partner. It is not their responsibility to make you happy. It is your responsibility. Happiness is not external. It is internal. It's not what someone can do for you. It is what you have to do for yourself. When you are operating in your gift, it becomes that source of joy, that source of fulfillment and satisfaction. That's why we see people who are dissatisfied in their relationship, but they are satisfied in their work because they are operating in their gift. Their work gives them that joy. They can even spend more hours on their work. You see couples who are depleted in their marriage, but they are replenished in their ministry because they are operating in their gift. My wife was able to discover her gift as a wedding planner, just like I was able to discover my gift. So we don't put the burden of happiness on each other. So I want you to say this after me, please. My happiness, I'm expecting you to say that. My happiness is my responsibility. And my gift creates my happiness. Okay, you sound good, but you can sound a little bit better, okay? All right, this might be your coffee for today. All right, repeat after me again. My happiness is my responsibility. And my gift creates my happiness. You sound so good. So before you leave this earth, discover your gift, develop it, and deploy it to make an impact, influence, and income. Here is the last pillar I want to share with you today. It's called roles. Roles. How do we determine roles in a relationship? Is it by gender or is it by culture? Society has relegated women to domestic roles. They say cooking is the role of women. Well, when you travel to Hawaii and you experience the Samoan culture, you will realize that the men are the ones responsible to cook, not the women. So that means we cannot use gender or culture as matrix to determine roles in a relationship, because what is done in your culture is quite opposite in another culture. So how do we determine roles? Roles in a relationship are determined by your gift, not chocolate and jewelries, but your talents, your skill set, your interest, or your constraints. Let me say that again. Roles are determined in the relationship by your gift, your talent, your skill set, your interest, or constraints. In 2019, during COVID-19, McKinsey and Company conducted a study, and it showed that 1 out of 4 women considered downshifting their career or leaving the workforce because they were not getting help at home by their men. Another study in 2018 showed that women who have disproportionate amounts of household work experienced dissatisfaction and considered leaving the relationship. These women were subject to stereotyped gender roles. And I must admit, I used to operate under the same school of thought as well. There was a time my wife and I bought our daughter a bike to be assembled at home. And we brought the bike to put together, and I told my wife, well, it's a man's job. I got this. Let me put it together. This bike could have been done under 30 minutes, but it took me 4 hours. 4 excruciating hours, even looking at the manual. I was not happy. I was frustrated. By the time I was done, I said to myself, if my wife were to put the same bike together, it would not take her 4 hours. She would not even need to look at the manual. Under 30 minutes, she'll be done putting this bike together. Because you know why? She's that gifted at it. She's skilled at it. Not only that, she has interest in doing such thing. I did not have interest in doing it. It was frustrating for me. But culture told me it is my role. Then I looked at the bike. It was not well put together. The bike was just dangling left, right, like a marching soldier. I said to myself, if my daughter were to ride on this bike, she would either get injured or end up in the hospital. And you know, women don't play with their kids. If my daughter ended up in the hospital, my wife is going to point finger at me. She's going to blame me. And who am I going to blame? The culture? Oh, I don't see the culture now. The culture can bail me out. So I realized at that moment, it's not about the culture outside. It's about the one you create in your house. So we don't determine roles by gender or by your culture, but they are determined by your talent, your skill set, your gift, your interest, or constraints. So my wife cooks not because of her gender, she cooks because she's skilled at it and she has the interest in doing it. And I wash dishes at home not because of my gender, but because I have interest in it. It relaxes me. As a matter of fact, I consider it therapeutic. So fellows, maybe you should consider that too. Let's dispel traditional gender roles and let's embrace talent, skill set, our interest and constraints in determining these roles. Dual household parent requires dual responsibilities. All hands on deck. My wife and I are able to experience satisfaction and success in our relationship because we practice relationship equity. And every year on June 24th, we celebrate National Relationship Equity Day with couples globally. As you walk out of this auditorium today and you think about your current relationship or the future one, what decision are you going to make? I hope it is to practice relationship equity, because without it, there's no other way to be satisfied and successful. Perhaps you are young and your parents don't practice this principle. It does not stop you from practicing it when you get to have your own relationship. I'm Dr. Femi Ogunjinmi. Thank you, and cheers to your improvement.